Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Eastern Regional Orchestra 2022. On behalf of the orchestra section of NCMEA, Ryan Elfson, our orchestra section chair, Alice Mingyuju, our Eastern Regional Orchestra audition chair, band orchestra directors of Eastern North Carolina, we are excited to present this wonderful, long-awaited program for you all this evening. My name is Matthew Holt, and I am the Eastern Regional Orchestra site chair. I want to thank East Carolina University for hosting us this weekend, and especially Dr. Tim Noack and the entire CNAFME chapter of ECU. While it has been expedited, it has been rewarding. I think I speak for everyone that being back in person for a regional event is beyond exciting. Today has featured sectionals, rehearsal, community, and opportunity for all involved. Momentarily, you will get to see it. I'd like to take a second here and ask that all participating directors please stand now and be recognized. If it had not been for their hard work and the dedication of these wonderful people, today would not have been possible. To put into perspective what has transpired over the past few years, or at least to do it justice, is far beyond my scope of explanation. As orchestra players, teachers, and students, we have had to completely adjust how we do things. Eastern Regional Orchestra last took place in February 2020, only a few weeks before the world shut down. Uncertainty took our hearts, and in these moments, a question was asked: how do we persevere? For our teachers, students, and orchestra family, there was no question. There was only a statement: we will persevere. Here we are, 2 years later, about to perform our first in-person orchestra regional event since 2020 in Moore County. Making this possible was nothing short of dedication and devotion. And it would not have been possible if it wasn't for all those involved. Thank you, students, for continuing your work. Thank you, teachers, for Zooming and teaching violin and clarinet fingerings virtually. And thank you, parents, for your dedication to your child's art and pushing them into the moments that came next. It is my pleasure to introduce our 2022 Eastern Regional String Orchestra Concert Master for String Orchestra, Ethan Phan. Thank you all. It is my pleasure now to introduce our 2022 Eastern Regional String Orchestra conductor, Dr. Paul Kim.
piece you just heard was a composition that I wrote 2 years ago, just as the pandemic was beginning. It was a piece that I wrote while most of us were on lockdown. We were all finding our individual ways throughout this mess and trying to figure out how long this was going to last, how severe it was going to be. So it was a time of a bit of an anxiety and uncertainty. That piece tried to reflect that time, but also give us some hope in the way that there were interweaving lines that are connected together. Similarly, we have all tried to find our individual ways to get through the pandemic, but at the same time, we realize that we're all in it together. The spirit of it was meant to be hopeful and forward-looking. I'm really proud of the work that these students have done this past day to learn two really challenging pieces in very short order. We did a lot of rehearsal, and they've come a really long way, so I'm really proud of their work. I want to thank so much all of the educators who have worked so hard to, not just to bring this particular day to fruition, but to have gone through, for the last 2 years, to come up with all sorts of new ways to teach their students, to find ways to adjust and teach music online. None of this would have even been thinkable 2-3 years ago, but they've done an amazing job, and I'm so proud of and thankful for their continued hard work to teach these students. Can we all give them a round of applause? Thanks especially to Matthew Holt for chairing this event, and to Alice Jew, all the educators who have worked hard for this event in particular. And thank you to all the faculty and staff here at ECU to make this possible. So this last piece that we are performing today is a more lighthearted piece. It's two movements, the folk tune Air and Fiddler's Fury by Alexander Safford.
Good evening again, everyone. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our 2022 Eastern Regional Orchestra Symphony Orchestra, so give them a round of applause again. And that was partly me buying time to get my speech up here, so we are good. Okay. Again, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure. I just wanted to touch on two things that I forgot to mention. The first being the entire concert is being audio and video recorded. Now, there's nothing in your programs about information for that because you're going to actually talk to your child's director to obtain said video and audio recording. There's no purchase necessary, okay? So I just want to let you know, if you're curious about the video and audio recording, please talk to your director. The other thing too is we included in your gift paper, for lack of a better word, that was really bad, I apologize, but that QR code that you got in the beginning that has the program on it, if you would prefer a printed copy of the program, you can ask your child's director to print one out. They have access to the actual file itself. So please access the QR code. If you would like a printed version, please ask your child's director to obtain that. Okay? It is my pleasure to introduce our 2022 Eastern Regional Symphony Orchestra Concertmaster, Jae Jung. Please stand. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our 2022 Eastern Regional Symphony Orchestra conductor, Dr. George Richter.